Flowers, he dives. The ball came out. It's recovered by Kansas City. Did the ball come out before he broke the plane?
I think you're right.
They're calling it a touchback and recovery on the field.
Boy, Jim Nantz and Slipknot do not, they don't go well together.
I was just thinking that's rap.
Yeah, sure. Zay Flowers fumbling on
Got
the
our new Masters theme.
Hello, friends. Watch it bleed!
Wait and bleed.
Whatever.
Bleed this, bleed that.
Yeah.
Angry yelling.
That play right there was, it was kind of if it can go wrong, it was the Murphy's Law game for the Baltimore Ravens. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And that fumble just started the slow unravel of the Baltimore Ravens, because just prior to that, you saw an exceptional play made by Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Where he gets down, he causes a penalty. They go right back to him. I love the fact they went right back to him after the taunting penalty. They get in within striking distance and poof. How quickly a 17-7 game can seem so far out of reach for the Baltimore Ravens. But I think that as everybody's criticizing Lamar Jackson for not making the plays, for Zay Flowers, for his Mecole Hardman impression of the day, but he was actually way more productive than Mecole Hardman was.
Sure.
Patrick Mahomes was in his bag to start that game.
I mean, the throw to Kelsey, the heave to Kelsey.
Where he runs around for 7 seconds?
Yeah, and then just chucks it like a shot put, and Kelsey makes the play.
Mm-hmm.
I just threw my hands up. I just went, oh, it's going to be that.
Well, this is what we talk about when you have the greatest player of his era. That's what he is right now. He is the greatest player of his era. And we need to stop with the Patrick Mahomes is closing in on the greatest of all time. He has another handful of rings that he needs to fill up before he gets there.
But as far as talent and ability and production and what he can do, I think you can make the argument that he is the best capability-wise to ever play that position.
But there are so many things that because you could say that about Steve Young too. Mm-hmm. Because what he does is very Steve Young-esque. Yeah. You know, his ability to run, create, keep a play alive. And John Elway, same thing. Like, he does all of those things. And this is where I think that we just need to appreciate how damn great he is right now, because we are living in the time where he is the best player in the NFL.
Yes. No matter how much we talk about Lamar or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Tyreek Hill or Brock Purdy or Debo or Christian McCaffrey, we get tired of it. It's the same in the NBA. We got tired of Michael Jordan. That's why he didn't win the MVP every year. We got tired of LeBron James. That's why he didn't win the MVP every year. The players that we consistently see like win MVP.
Yeah.
Over the guy we know is the best player in the league.
Right.
Lamar Jackson had a phenomenal year. He's going to win MVP. Is he the best player in the league? No,
he's not. He's not. But he had the best. He had the best season this year, and that all of these things are okay.
Yes, entirely.
And that's why I just want to sit back and appreciate Patrick Mahomes for what he is, because it is stupid to sit there and be like, no, he's the greatest of all time. Okay, he's doesn't have any of the. He's not even close. Everybody's like, well, 6 straight conference championship games. Brady went to 8. Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go.
Keep going.
You want to go rings? I mean, Tom Brady. Still, we don't need to sit there and compare the two guys.
There's plenty of time for that on the back end.
And you know what? He very may well. But why do we want to?
We don't need to rush to get there. We can appreciate it in the moment. 100%.
It was the same thing with Brady in Montana too. Mm-hmm. Why? Why do we need to get there when you could just sit there and appreciate this dude in the AFC Championship game had a roster that was not as good as his opponent.
And he went 30 for 39 because it wasn't this 427-yard, 4-touchdown masterclass, and they won by beating them 17-10.
Yep.
Find me the mistake that Patrick Mahomes made. Find it.
There wasn't. I mean, they played the perfect game against the Baltimore Ravens. And there's a lot that you can say in like imposing your will and just being a team that has that we are going to win this game no matter what. Yeah. Like the whole Patrick Mahomes is inevitable. Yeah, that's what greatness does to you. But the fact is that this Kansas City Chiefs team has now morphed into a complete team because defensively they are lights out. And what they were able to do offensively at the beginning of the game, when you jump on a team early in a game the way that they did.
And you eat the clock the way that they did.
Baltimore, they played scared after it was 14-7. When Baltimore went down and they answered with the touchdown, it was like, okay, here we go. We may have a game on our hands. When it got to 14-7, you saw a Baltimore Ravens defense or offense that they just scrapped the game plan. They ran the ball one time design, like a true design run. They did. One of them is a Zay Flowers. In the second half, they had Zay Flowers with a little bubble screen that they threw to him in the backfield, right? Outside of that, you had one design handoff to Gus Edwards. And that was it. And all that allowed Kansas City to do was play defense the way they have all season long, which is their linebackers are so great in coverage, and they were yesterday against the Baltimore Ravens, but they are the most important piece to their run support. And that is not a good run defense. No, but they just scrapped it and they played from behind and they said, Lamar's got to do what Lamar does. No, like take what the San Francisco 49ers did, for God's sakes. They go down 14-0, and what was their answer? Down 14-0. An 8-play, 75-yard drive where they ran the piss out of the ball.
Just grind living hell out of it. I was just looking at this real quick. So the Chiefs' first two drives ate up 15 minutes of clock. Two drives ate up 15 minutes. It is not until the second drive in the third quarter that the Ravens caught up in time of possession to the first two drives.
Yeah. To the first
two drives.
It was like 20-8, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In time of possession.
I mean, that's how long it took them to catch back up, and so much of that is because they abandoned the run game. And no, were the Ravens being wildly successful outside of Lamar Jackson? No, but you didn't even test it. And I know the fear of Patrick Mahomes, and they've got points up on you quick, and you feel like you're scrambling, you're chasing, and they're going to score 45 points. When have they done that all year? When have the Kansas City Chiefs done that all year? You're a great defense. You know what the Chiefs did in the second half? They punted 5 times.
And just suffocated them.
But I mean, again, this Chiefs offense is not the Chiefs offense of old. It's like you got the Ravens got scared. They played with scared money, and the thought of the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce hurt them more than the practice of them.
There's a few things that Kansas City did to Baltimore. One, their defense, I thought it was really fun to watch that second half because it was high level of execution defensively by the Kansas City Chiefs. And, it can be boring when you have punt, but it was really
disruptive
high level
as hell,
execution.
moving Chris Jones all over the bleeping field.
And he was a maniac.
It was his best playoff game that we've seen.
And Steve Spagnuolo is finally getting the credit that he deserves as being one of the sharpest defensive minds in football because of the fact that he's done it at every place he's gone, and at every turn you look at that and you say, what Steve Spagnuolo means to the Kansas City Chiefs defense, it means so much more to Patrick Mahomes because he's one of the big reasons why this offense, which is void of the weapons that it used to have, can protect him. Like it's incredible to see how they have shifted a complete franchise's vision in direction to a defensive minded team. And Spagnuolo's done this. He did it in New York with the Giants too, right? I mean, he's the one that if you have a guy who's going to knock off the Patriots in the Super Bowl twice, go ahead. Have that guy protect your quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, because this is what we are seeing is with Chris Jones and the way they move. You mentioned them moving him around, and Spagnuolo's kind of wizardry is highlighted in that one play where they tried to get it to Zay Flowers on, I think was it fourth down or
no? It was third and long, and he
where they
jumps the edge and he just bats it down.
They had a screen and they Chris Jones is just sitting there on the right
Already
side of the
waiting for
offensive
it.
line and just puts his big old mitten out and does what he does. In this Chiefs defense, they bat balls down
Yes.
all over the field every game, but he's in the right spot at the right time. That isn't just Chris Jones. That's Steve Spagnuolo
That's set
saying, all right, we know where
Set
he
screen.
needs to be.
Yeah.
And he is always in the right spot. They're defensively, they've got a bunch of very smart players and one of the smartest defensive minds in the game right now in Spagnuolo. They flummoxed Todd Monken, Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens. We can talk about how it was one of the most egregious throws to Isaiah Likely in triple coverage when you're in field goal range in a game that is a 2-score game and you need 3 points and you are in Justin Tucker's wheelhouse. Like, they were in a spot where they needed points. I know it was pass interference. It was pass interference. Sean Smith and his crew chalk another one up to Road Dogg.
And that was the point I was making. Not that Lamar got bailed out by that throw. I saw people on the text line that it was a dumb decision.
But they were allowing a lot of contact all game long. Like, their penalties that they were calling, they were more of the, hey, we're going to just keep this thing between the navigational buoys.
I would say I don't even remember. God, was there really that many?
There were
11 total?
There was 11 total penalties, but there wasn't a whole lot of pass interference.
Yeah, I guess a lot of it was all procedural stuff.
There wasn't a lot of holding.
Yeah.
They were trying to keep the game in control because here's the other thing Kansas City did a masterful job at. They got inside the head of the Baltimore Ravens early in that game, and it paid dividends. They got the taunting penalty on Zay Flowers. They got the unsportsmanlike conduct when Travis Kelce baited Kyle Van Noy to the nth degree to get a shove.
The late game Roquan.
You got the Roquan Smith, which I don't think, by the way, I think that was intentional, Roquan Smith jumping off sides because it was 1st and 5. You had 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning still. I think that they were jumping off sides to give him a first down. The 15 yards is the killer. I was like, why fit? Like, come on. That shouldn't have been a 15-yard penalty. But with the fact that you were on tilt. You had a taunting and an unsportsmanlike before that, they're going to throw that flag.
Yeah.
It'll be 15, not 5, right? So they did a great job of baiting Baltimore, knowing that they could get in between the ears of Baltimore. And that was the surprising part because that's something you don't see from the Baltimore Ravens.
And that's what I was saying when I said that they kind of played scared.
Yeah.
Is that they got rattled. They had the scared money, and that's the experience of the Chiefs. And talking about, like, again, going back to the poll question, like, who meant more for the quarterback? Did Mahomes have an ounce of pressure on him externally?
No.
Did the Ravens? Yeah. Every bit of it. If the Chiefs lost, well, Mahomes didn't have weapons. It's been kind of a weird year. You kind of expect it. It's been Lamar's year. He's an MVP. They're finally healthy. It all makes sense. The excuses were there.
Yeah.
What we're doing right now is are there excuses being made for Lamar? Is anybody making an excuse for Lamar right now, or is he getting killed?
I think he's getting killed, but they are also saying that game plan was thrown into the garbage can early, and that was the worst thing that could have happened for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. He didn't play well.
But he wasn't set up well either.
They did not allow him to succeed because you needed to make the linebackers worried about the run game, and they never did it. They never established it, and that is their bread and butter. That is where they are at their best, is when they can run the football, and they never tried to do it. But when you add that to the fact that Patrick Mahomes was on the field, it was inevitable. And Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce are now in another Super Bowl, the fourth one in 5 years.
We haven't even mentioned this yet, and we can talk about it here in a bit, how insane a postseason career Travis Kelce has had.
It is, a career, period.
Yeah, but I mean...
Full stop.
But his postseason career, to do what he did, the record that he broke this weekend is bonkers.